Train 262 Heavy, wind calm, runway 31 left, clear for takeoff, caution wake turbulence, previous departure, Heavy 777.
Hello and welcome to Lindham, whatever. I'm in the UK. Why am I in the UK? Well, because, why wouldn't I be in the UK when I'm flying a Supermarine Spitfire? You'll notice the propeller right off the bat. This is I think it's an FS 2009 convert, or FS9. FS9 convert. From the front, it's not too bad. From the back, it goes wonky. Yeah, not the best. Also, the noise with the opening is kind of interesting. Just saying. All right, there we go. There's our prop. Got a little bit of flap there. A lot of flap. Wow. It's more like dive brake at that point. All right. Well, let's take this plane to the sky. The interior looks really nice, by the way. Yeah, let's take this thing to the sky, then as we take off, we'll talk about it. There's my RPMs. I'm looking for my head temp. Use pressure. Screw it. Here we go. Into the air. There we go. The Supermarine Spitfire. All right, so the Spitfire was designed as a short-range, high-performance interceptor by R.J. Mitchell. He was designing it up until his death in 1937 of cancer, and then it was taken over by another designer. It was produced in greater numbers than any other British aircraft in World War II. It's the only one produced throughout the war, and it continued service up into the 1950s. You'll notice the elliptical shape to the wings. Not just the elliptical shape, but the thin cross-section. The thin cross-section elliptical wings allowed a higher top speed than most contemporary fighters, including the Hurricane. There we go. It is perceived as the RAF fighter for the Battle of Britain. However, it was produced in smaller numbers than the Hurricane, and the Hurricane shouldered the larger chunk of the burden. The Spitfire had a higher killed-loss ratio, but when it comes down to it, the Hurricane did the lion's share of the work. Go. We're going to try to do a flyby or something here without crashing the airplane. Now, the wing has a unique construction. It's kind of interesting. It's got a boom spar design. What does that mean? Well, a boom spar design means that the spars go out and then they're just kind of cut off and pushed together. It's sort of like leaf springs. It's really kind of hard to describe, really. And that is one of the reasons why it's got such a thin cross-section, allowed for a very thin cross-section. Also why it's got a narrow track to its landing gear. It's got a narrow track because it reduces the moment on the wing. Ooh, here we are in the cockpit. It's more fun to fly from here, I guess. The other unique bit of wing it had was the trailing edge. Now, the trailing edge of the wing, it's hard to see here in the flight sim. The trailing edge twisted upward from the wing root to its tip, from plus 2.5 to negative 0.5 degrees. What this meant was, in stall conditions, the wing root stalled first and then the wing tips. This prevented what's called tip stall, which can often result in a spin. The engine depends on the model. This particular one is likely running the Rolls-Royce Merlin 45 supercharged V12 with 1,470 horsepower at tap. Top speed was 378 miles per hour. And the armament were two 20mm Hispano Mark II cannons and four 303 Browning machine guns. Alright, I gotta find... Where's my... Runway. There it is. Okay. Alright, we're gonna try to make a landing. Yeah, that's gonna work well. Throttle her all the way down here. Think that's gonna work? I don't know about this. Here come those landing gears. Notice how they kind of go backwards? That was also part of the design because of those unique wing designs. Alright, there we go. Notice how close the unit directly in front of me appears? It looks like it's actually physically a unit that was pushed out, so it looks really nice here in the design. Brought this guy up a little bit. So as long as the props are running, you don't actually notice the graphical problem. So as long as your engines are running, excuse me, as long as your engines are running, well, it looks like a nice Spitfire. We come in for landing. Notice that narrow track. Very narrow when you compare it to something like the P40 or the P51. It does float above the ground, apparently. That's his flight simulator. Alright. We actually made it. And if I'm careful, I even won't plant it on its nose, which is, you know, another important thing not to do, which I'm... Come on. Does she have diff brakes? No, she does not have diff brakes, apparently. It appears I have a tail wheel that doesn't really articulate, but I do have a tail wheel. That's interesting. Huh. Okay. Well, there you go. I do have an invisible tail wheel. Shut her down. And open our cockpit. There's our little dude there. Yeah, see how that unit is right there in front of his face? And then we get in the cockpit, and there it is right in front of our face. So that's pretty cool. All right, so while we're on the ground, shift 1 is cockpit. 2, there's our GPS. 3 is a modern radio stack. 4, something. 4 is supposed to be FFMFP, whatever that is. I don't know. Let's see, is there anything we can pull or push or prod in the cockpit? Now we can do our flap control in cockpit if we feel like it. Landing gear position, okay. Yeah, so there's not a lot of things and who's it and what's it's in the cockpit to tug on, which is sort of sad. But here we go. This is originally an alpha simulation, and it Flight Simulator 9 model that's been converted to Flight Simulator X. There's a few things here and there that could be cleaned up, made prettier, but it's a pretty darn nice looking Spitfire. And it's got some nice sounds to it. and a good look. It also has several models, so just be aware. You will get multiple aircraft in multiple different liveries and multiple different marks. So this one I think is a Mark 8. I saw, I think, a Mark 12 or something like that. So definitely, if you're looking for a Spitfire, this one's a nice one. Go ahead and give it a try. The link's down below in the description. Until next time, this is DerTebbers, flying a Spitfire here in the UK. Bye.